All right, welcome to another Space Luchador program. Today, I got for you why women play games. Now, 4 aspects. I want you to see 3, of course. So let's go ahead and jump in, and hopefully you get some value out of this video today, right? So help me help you by sharing, and subscribing.
Fellas, so today we're going to discuss why women play games with attractive and handsome men. Now, this video is important for one reason and one reason only. So that as you progress and as you get better and become the best version of yourself, you don't miss out on women, because this is what happens to a lot of guys. Whether you're ugly or attractive, a lot of men don't get results with women because you don't understand human nature and you only work on the exterior. What we're not going to do today, fellas, is we're not going to complain and we're not going to cope as to why you're not getting women.
Correct. Basically, no woman bashing. And understand what he said. You do not understand human nature. In this case, I'm going to get more specific. Woman nature. Alright? That's where I come into play. So let's go ahead and continue. And I'll show you what I mean.
Because in reality, women actually make it easy for attractive men. Now, once you get in the door, yes, they play games. Yes, they shit test you. Yes, they lack cooperation at times. But when you learn the game, being attractive and being handsome will not be your problem. It'll actually be your unfair advantage in today's dating marketplace.
Which opens up another can of worms, believe it or not. A whole hell of another set of problems. And I know I don't want to discourage you, right? This is next level. Understand that, okay? And this is the point. This is the first, first class of this, right? Before you ever even worry about that other level, right? But each situation comes with its own problems. And that is my whole premise. Right, to get you through at least the very beginnings and the first problems, so that you can, long and behold, be at the next level. And at some point, you're gonna love all this, and trust me, you're gonna be like, damn, how did I not see this before? Well, this is a new science, that's why, right? First of all. And second of all, it is very rare for anybody to be talking about this. So I'm gonna use my counterpart here, right, to explain his side, and I'm gonna add all the little things that he's missing. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump back in.
Now, first reason women play games, and I'm gonna start off with this one because this is the most common one, is that she assumes, sometimes she's right, but she assumes you're a player, or she assumes you get whatever you want with women. And it gets to the point where even men would assume that you're a player and you get whatever you want with women.
Correct.
Everywhere I go, I have random men come up to me and they give me either 2 responses. Either they asking me what I do in the gym, or what I eat, or how much I bench, or something fitness related, or they assuming that I get a lot of hoes. Damn, bro, you must get all the hoes, huh? No, G, not exactly, to be honest with you. All right, fellas? And
that's a no.
This is the same thing that women think. Now, why do they play games? All right, fellas, something you didn't know is that she wants to stand out. If a woman assumes that you're a player, G, that means you get a lot of women. That means she's one of many, a dime a dozen. All right, G? So in her head, she feels like in order for her to gain your attention and you not treat her like all the other imaginary women you got, all right? She feels like she got to play games. And at times, the most common games a woman will play is the push and pull. Now
Understand, she will play this regardless, whether you're handsome or not. It's the push and pull you're going to get, period, right? He's talking from the aspect of the perceived player, which actually enhances this push and pull because it's easier, right? All that other bull crap in the middle of the questioning and what's your name and all that other crap just goes out the window just like that. Basically, everything is heightened up into a straight up 50-50. She either says all in or all out, right? Because a player, for example, does not play those dumbass games. He's in and out. Boom. That's it. Right? So ain't any time for all that other stuff. That's why it just all gets heightened, which helps me show you the ropes, right? And that's my point on that, right? So understand, this is just heightened up games that they play, which I am going to use to show you how all this stuff works.
Because she's attracted to you, she will push, meaning she will show you attraction, she will flirt by nature. She can't help it. Why, G? Because the body game on point. Your looks max and everything look good. But there will be times she will wake up in the morning and be like, damn, I like him too much. I don't want to be a part of a group. I need to stand out. So I ain't going to text him today. And when he texts me, I'm going to ignore him. All right, G? And it gets to the point where even their friends give them this dumbass advice to do this because they think if they stand out, that it's going to draw you to them. And you're going to be like, that's the one. That's the one who ignores me and doesn't treat me right. So I'm going to pick her over all my other bitches. It's weird how they think, all right, fellas? It's real shit. I think
it's real shit, and it's not that weird once you understand it. Now, I want you, basically, I'm going to give you a freebie here. See, here's what no one out there in the internet, no guru, right, is saying this. So you're going to hear this first here in the Space Luchador program. Believe it or not, that's how they work, which is why we think the same way. So once you understand that, homework for you, okay? Once you understand that little difference right there, that's the little point that makes all the difference. Understand, right? Now, what did he say? Right? That she basically pulls back out of nowhere, right? Because she doesn't want to basically, well, I like him too much. Now, how many times have you heard, at least for me, I've heard plenty of times, I always hear this, well, I know myself, which is why I'm going home now. Because what she is saying, right, that she knows herself and she knows she's going to submit, or the classic, I'm going to give myself in, or I'm going to tap, quit, give in, basically, right? So because she knows what's going to happen, they put the brakes, boom, and say, I'm out because I'm losing. Understand? That's simple, right? But understand, they know themselves that damn good, right, that they will do this. And that's my point. Now I know it's hard and complicated, but again, we're trying our damnedest. My counterpart here as well, right, to explain this.
It's a psychological thing they go through when they come up with these dumbass assumptions. But anyway, she wants to stand out. She wants to stand out. Now I'm gonna keep it real with you, G. And this is some wisdom, and this is just from my experience and my opinion. If you got a woman who is playing this many games, like pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling and pushing and pulling, and you got all these other options, I don't recommend you tolerate that. That's one of the benefits of being a handsome guy, is you got options if you are a player. All right, if you really are a player, you got to push and pull because her ass want to stand out. Let her fucking stand outside. All right, G. So next thing is, and I've dealt with this, and some of you guys probably have too.
Now, while he is correct, this is where it gets just a little, too complicated, or in this case, this is where a lot of you out there make that mistake, right? What he is saying is giving you that alpha push, which I'm saying is actually a mistake, because believe it or not, what he just said there, right? If we go back just a little, right? He said that the girl basically pushes so hard that now she's disrespecting you, right? So because she's disrespecting you, and one of the benefits of being a handsome guy, right, is that you don't have to tolerate it. So on his premise, what he is saying, right, is you push her away in a demonstration of I'm that damn good or tough. Sadly, that's how you fall into the trap of what he just said, right? Which was the big setup in the first place. And I know it's hard to explain, more to understand, right? But that's the trick. So don't fall for that trick. If that's the girl you want, you push and pull back. You don't try to push because of your little ego was hurt, right? Because now, well, I don't have to tolerate it. Well, you do. That's the work. That's the point. That's how you catch a fish that is pushing and pulling on the damn string, right? That's the point. So don't fall into the mistake of I'm too tough. I'm a real man, right? Because I'm an alpha, so I don't have to put up with this, right? And you make the mistake of cutting the line, which was the big setup. That's what she wanted. That's my point. But anyways, again, hard to explain, but there you go. Hopefully you understood.
Is a woman will patronize you. Sometimes, mostly you'll get this from older women, and she'll do this verbally. All right, I went on a date with this chick, bro, and she was mad attracted to me, G. And you can tell because when I got out my truck and I jumped out, she damn near fell out her damn car, staring at me, drooling and shit, right? So when she walked up to my truck, she gave me a hug, right? The first thing she said was, "Oh, I see your little truck, your little cute little truck, huh?" And I'm like, damn, why I gotta be a little cute little truck? It's big as shit. This is a 2500 diesel. What the fuck you talking about?
And there it is. You saw that? There it is. It's that little push to the ego, the shot to the liver, right? It's the little shots, the little psychological shots that guys fall for. Him himself, right? My counterpart here is literally telling you a story of how he fell for it. It's those little insult shots that, if we're talking from player to player, right, you should be able to not only pass but recognize this test, right? That it's not an insult, but it's an actual setup for you to fall for it, right? And fall victim. And look at him. He's offended about that. She said, why does it have to be a small ass little truck? Now you fell victim. Understand? All right, let's continue.
But they'll do that shit to try to dumb you down to a few things, fellas. They want to drop your ego because they know you proud, they know you confident, and they don't want you feeling yourself too damn much. All right, now you're gonna get this usually from more experienced women, older women, less innocent women, because they done dealt with enough men. They want to be the leader in most cases, so they'll try to dumb you down a little bit. Sometimes they do this to shit test you, because they'll see you, they like, oh, he feeling himself. Let me try to break him, see if he really confident. All right, so don't take offense to it. All right.
Oh, well, basically you said what I said, right?
Don't react to the patronizing stuff. Sometimes it's just shit test. It sounds like patronizing, but it's just poking and banter in most cases. But I said patronizing because that's how it comes across. So don't get offended by it. And the last one is she'll just avoid you. All right, fellas, you will see this a lot at the gym or at public places. A woman will be staring at you. G, I'm talking to y'all know that stare where like they arms hanging and they damn near in a trance like a zombie. They just looking at you, G, drool coming from their mouth. And then you catch her looking and she stand up and turn her other way and then walk out the fucking building. She ain't even done with her workout, G. She just picked her bag up and panicked and walked outside the building because you looked at her. This
correct. Now this is another psychological blow to most regular men. Why? Because, well, logic dictates, right? Well, if she likes you, why in the hell did she run? Right? Hell, this gets so bad that if you have an effect on a girl that bad and she panics, she's willing, literally willing to remove you from anywhere in her premise, since she can't remove herself. Now, what do I mean by this? How many of you out there have ever had a situation where Well, he made me uncomfortable. Now your ass is out of a job, right? Or out of the gym, right? Because you made some girl that you didn't even know, or didn't even know. Not only did you not even know, a girl you never even talked to, and somehow you made her uncomfortable. That's one of those. So there you go, right? And these are problems, I'm telling you. Maybe not the regular Joe, but there's a value to these problems that you can learn and understand. None of this, first of all, is personal. Understand, it's only business. It gets personal because I know it affects your job and other things, right? But again, this is the name of the game. And if you want to play it, get good. Understand what it is, how it's played, why. Ask why. Here I am. So go ahead and ask, all right? Let's continue.
Happens. Not literally, but you get what I'm saying. And the reason why they do this is some women just don't know how to act, fellas. It's just a bunch of shit go through their head and they just panic. Some of you guys do this with attractive women. Alright, so first thing.
Yeah, we just don't go out of our way, right? We do it in other ways. We destroy situations in other ways. But we do not get her out of the way, right? Literally, but they do. That's the level they operate at, right? They're willing to get you fired so long as you're not in the premise and ruining, right, her peace. Understand? She knows that she will fall and she would rather, because it's easier to just not have you there. And it's hard to believe, and it's a whole nother level. And no guru out there other than this guy here, right now is touching on that. But anyways, let's continue.
Thinks you a player. She thinks you get what you want. She thinks you just this man whore, and a few things she gonna do. Now, next reason women play games with attractive men is she doesn't want to be.
Man, is your marriage on the brink? Your wife distant, cold? Maybe she's even gone and you're wondering, is it too late? It's not.
Maybe.
Here's the brutal truth.
Judge.
Now we'll work on that later, right? Anyways, continue.
Alright, there's an assumption, a wild assumption that women make about handsome and attractive men, especially when you got your style and your image on point. They think or assume you got your life together. You get a lot of women, you call the shots, you got your life together, you got your life in order. Now
this one is hard because, and I'm going to sum it up to this, pretty simple, right? Because you look so badass, for the lack of a better word, because you look like $1 million, you should be worth $1 million. But sadly, in the world today, 2025, anybody that is worth, or actually looks like $1 million as a man, right? The system is stacked against you. Why? Because everybody hates you. Because of the very fact, right, that you're quote unquote a player. And therefore you cannot be a victim like everybody else. So the standards, right, basically have flipped, where because you didn't care about all this other stuff, that's a whole nother thing, but understand what I'm saying. Basically what I'm saying is that she perceives you, right, if you look like $1 million, you must be worth $1 million, but sadly you're not worth $1 million, or have $1 million for that matter, and therefore you come across this problem, right? Which, again, if you recognize the problem, shouldn't be a problem, but it is a problem that affects ultimately the game. Now let's continue and see how he explains it, right?
If she doesn't, or she has a sense of insecurity, which a lot of women do, especially today, she will feel like you're going to judge her, meaning you're going to hold her up to a standard that she possibly can't reach. All right, a lot of you guys do this in your communication and you make this mistake. You talk to women in this corporate form when you really should just be flirting and having fun. And she's like, oh, this guy's serious. He's going to be telling me what to do. He's going to try to make me respect him. I got to be on my P's and Q's and order discipline all the time. Nah, I'd rather just go deal with a fun dude who ain't that attractive. This happens because you guys walk off.
That happens too.
All tight. You in your frame, G, but you look like the fucking Terminator.
Yep. Basically, you intimidate them, right? And they know what comes with the Terminator level dude, right? You can't be budged, moved, controlled, manipulated, right? Played for that matter. So it becomes basically, it's almost like a catch-21, right? Or I call it the paradox, where because they go in the game knowing they're not going to win, well, why the hell would they play a game they know they're not going to win? Does that make sense? Although I'll take it a step further, where when you play a game you know you're not going to win, right? All the fun goes out of it because half the damn fun is not knowing if you're going to win or lose. Does that make sense? At least for women. So understand that, right? That's the way we're like. So as a guy, you're going to get in a fight, right? And you know you're going to lose. Why in the hell would you even make the attempt, right? It ain't fun to get your ass kicked, basically, right? So there you go. Hopefully you understood that example. Let's continue.
All right, and a lot of this happens because of your resting bitch face, which I have a lot because I'll meet even people, men and women, and they'll get to know me, and they'll be like, to be honest, I thought you were an asshole when
I get that all the time.
met you. I'm like, why you thought that? And they like, because you look good, you got your shit together, but you just look uptight. All right?
Oh, yeah. I get that, too. Plenty of times I've been doing, you look conceited, right? You look narcissistic. You look pissed off. You look all these things, which are all the, toxic masculinity qualities that, quote unquote, girls don't like, right?
Right, fellas, you got to understand, your appearance tells a story. So if you look good, G, you need to be inviting and welcoming to people because most people gonna think you stuck up. Most ugly women think pretty women are stuck up. Most ugly men think handsome men are stuck up. Most ugly men think pretty women are stuck up, and most ugly women think handsome men are stuck up. It's how it works. It's the nature of the beast. All right, fellas, it's easier to approach a 7 than it is a 9. Why? Because you have this subconscious feeling that this 9 gonna reject you because she uptight and she get men all fucking day. You less likely to have fear to approach a 7 because it's more likely she's gonna have more of a personable personality. All right.
Correct. And same thing on the other side of the coin, right?
Right, fellas, this is how the game works. It's what
I call it the 10 syndrome. Right, there are all sorts of problems that come with being a 10, right? Which, of course, I'd rather deal with a 10 problem than a 1 problem, right? But in this weird ass game of love and war, believe it or not, it's actually easier to work from 0, right, than work from a 10, because you got nothing to lose, everything to gain. And as a 10, you got everything to lose, right? And well, not much to gain other than just the gain, right? That makes sense? So there you go for that.
you think and
Let's
you don't
continue.
even know you think it. All right, so women don't want to be judged for that matter. So what would they do? They will ignore you. They will avoid you. They will act like they don't see you. When they look at you and then you look at them, they'll put their head down and keep fucking walking. When you talk to them, they'll act like you don't look as good as you actually do. And you sitting there like, bitch, do you see me? Like, why you not fondling over me and acting crazy right now? But they're holding it in deep inside some of the times. Not all the time.
Yep, correct. Same thing they do. Same thing, right? Only backwards in this case. But I want you to understand the psychology behind it. That's the whole point of this video, right? And it's true. And there's a problem, right? Because when you're sitting there going, well, shit, here I am, top of my game. I know I'm the man in the entire dumbass room. And somehow you're ignored. Think about that for one damn second, right? Now, if you're a 0 again, it don't matter. It don't matter, and it makes sense. So it's easier to handle. But if you're a damn 10 in the room, you know you're the best. Hell, you are the best in the whole entire room. And you're being ignored, right, by the women, right? Or at least, quote unquote, ignored. Because again, this is it's a work, right? But understand the effectiveness of it. The psychological part. It's for you to break. Understand? All right, now let's continue.
Times, because just because you look good, that don't mean every chick gonna like you. Like, you're not everybody's cup of tea. All right, so sometimes, this is a thing. Sometimes it ain't games. Sometimes these women really ain't feeling you. All right, she don't like dark-skinned dudes. She like Mexican dudes, or vice versa, or whatever her style is. But you ain't it sometimes. All right, let me tell you why women lie about the fact.
Damn, another damn commercial.
They lie about everything. But why women lie?
There's a little truth right there, right in the middle of all this. Right, lie about it, everything. So those guys out there, well, all you have to do is talk and communicate, and no, right? Everything that comes out of their mouth is either a lie, a play, right, or a fish hook, right? Now I'll explain that later, but understand, every little thing is a move. And that's my point. I want you to understand what you're dealing with, right? Sometimes they'll say what you want to hear, right? For not necessarily nefarious reasons, but because they're playing you, not for a fool, right? But they're playing the game. They're setting up the next move. But again, that's next level. Let's continue.
About the fact that they want men with dad bods and they rather an ugly dude and all this bullshit that they say. Now, remember, don't believe what women say, but the reason why they say this and why you shouldn't believe it is because sometimes women avoid handsome men and rather be with an ugly dude or a fat dude or a dude with a dad bod is because they want the spotlight. All right?
Correct. Now, I can make a whole nother video. I might do it later, but there's a whole debate, right, between the dad bod and the fit guy that she would technically be attracted to, right? The reason they are attracted to the dad bod is not because that it's the dad bod that they're attracted to, but rather think outside the box, right? And then you would see that it's because he is actually a dad, which that's a whole nother taboo and a whole nother problem, right? That we'll deal with later. And also, it's easier, right? Again, it's easier to, just like he said, to be the spotlight when you're the one that's wanted, right? So if you got an attractive guy, right, and an attractive girl, now you got two attractive people, right? And it makes the girl feel a certain kind of way that you're too damn attractive, right? Not all girls can handle this. So it's easier for them to be with an ugly ass dude. That's what he's saying, right? Understand, that's another problem, right? That again, can be fixed, but we're not dealing with that right now. So let's continue.
Feminism has done this a lot. I remember, I ain't gonna lie, and I was alive during this time. It used to be a woman wanted her man to be a beast. She wanted him to be jacked and attractive so she can show him off to people. All right, fellas, and that some women are still like that, but there are a lot of women today, these women who want to be leaders and bosses and all that shit, they want to be the prettiest one, which your woman should be prettier than you. But if you by nature attractive, you got body game, you got good genetics, facial features and all that, some women would avoid you simply because when y'all walk in a room together or the restaurant together or the family event together, she want people to say, oh my God, Brittany, you look so beautiful. Hi, John, what's going on, man? They don't want people to say, damn, John, look at you, bro. You looking good in that t-shirt, bro. Oh, how you doing, Brittany? How you doing today, ma'am? She don't want that, all right?
Now, what did I just say? Now, granted, right? It's rare for you to be in this situation unless you're an attractive, handsome man yourself. But understand, there's a reason I'm bringing this up, because all of this matters. For all those damn gurus out there in the internet, right, that never talk about any of this. They don't do any of this calculation. They don't know any of this at this level, right? And they just generalize all the shitty L's that the random regular dude gets. But understand, this is intel that will help you at any level, right, to understand the game. Once you understand the game, then you could evaluate where you're at in the game and get good at the game, right? And do the appropriate moves. And that's my whole damn point. And that's the whole point of this channel, right? To show you the ropes of the game, right? This is valuable information and intel that you must keep and understand, right? And do the mathematics that I've always talked about in this game of love and war, right? But understand, there it is. Another proof of all the stuff that I'm talking about. Now, while it is hard and complicated, this is the work. This is what it takes, right? Understand, right? So let's continue. Hopefully finish it up.
Right, that's gonna drop her ego. And not necessarily big egos, just fragile egos. Women don't have big egos, G. I'm gonna keep it real with you. They fake that shit. So when you guys say I gotta destroy her ego, she never had one, bro. She's
correct. Never had one. You must understand what this means. That's a whole nother thing too. How could she have a damn ego? Understand what they ultimately do, right? Which they could not do if they had an ego in the first place. Understand that. That's one of the biggest aspects, right? Now, I'm not going to go ahead and touch on that right now, but just understand, just as he said, they don't have an ego. It's not personal. It's only business. All right? Now let's continue.
lying, to be honest with you. I know, trust me. All right, guys, now, last reason, and this is probably the most prevalent reason today, is some of these women, G, little do you know, I'm about to give you the game. Some of these women have been ran through by these pretty boys, by these Chads, by these Tyros, these Pookies, these Ray Rays, whatever you want to call them, G. These women have been ran through by these dudes. This
Casanovas, Don Juans, all of that. Trauma. This is the one aspect that all the gurus out there forget and just conveniently don't ever bring up. They only woman bash, they bitch, complain, right, all over the damn internet about how women do this and women are evil and accountability and all this other crap, right, and woman nature and hypermicry and all these dumbass scientific words, and they never touch on this little thing that actually matters. The actual truth about this whole damn game, right, is that understand, when a guy meets a girl, right, they forget about love and all that other stuff. It's just like, well, you know, but how do you what do you think happens when she meets the love of her life, right, give or take, at any point, but she meets the love of her life. Love of her life is a 10. 10's just a Don Juan. He's a player, right? What do you think happens? Runs right through her, moves on. What do you think happens? Right? Trauma. I call it the whiteboard, right? But again, we're not talking about the whiteboard. I just want you to understand. This is one of the biggest points, right? That, like I said, all gurus in the internet, right, and everybody that's doing the relationship talk in them shows here and there conveniently forget this little aspect, this little truth. The trauma that is left by every successful dude, and believe it or not, while it's 1% of the top guys out there, that 1% does all the damage. Believe it or not, right? And well, You gotta accept it and understand. At the very least, know. So that you know, where you stand, right? This little bit of information might change your whole damn game and aspect and beliefs and all that, right? And maybe, just maybe, we could get your ass up there, right? At least to the 3%, right? This is valuable information. So let's go ahead and finish it up.
This is the scenario. This 6, you got this 6, and you got this 7, and you got this 8, all right? These are chicks. They all go out one night, right, to the club. And then they run into Chad, all right? Chad over here looking all jack. He looks max. He got the chisel jaw and all that shit, right? So Chad go approach the 8, and Chad pull the 8. He bag the 8. He take the 8 home. He smash the 8. He do the 8 dirty. Ghost her. Now she go complaining to the 6 and the 7. Now they like, oh, we ain't dealing with them bad boys no more. I don't like them attractive men. They just do girls dirty. They womanizers and all that. So now when the 6 and the 7 see you, G, they rejecting you. They doing you dirty. They ghosting you. They playing games acting like you ain't attractive. So you looking at them like, bitch, you a 6. What you doing? Whole time you don't know she got trauma from what her friend told her. All right.
Perfect sense. There you go. I've always said it's mathematics, right? 6, 7, 8. There it is. But there you go, right? Trauma. Dumbass example, but it's an example nonetheless. I couldn't have said it better myself, but there it is. Right? A counterpart here just explained to you how it works. It's that simple. And that's why you got, like he said, right? You got the 6 and even 5s and 4s. Right, thinking they're high and mighty because they somehow take the 8, 9, and 10 trauma as one of their own. Right, it's almost like you did it to them, right? And they're feeling like they're the shit, right? Because it's like they share the scoreboard, right? But that's a whole nother thing that we could debate later. But just understand, there you go, perfect example of what happens out there in the real world. This is it. This is as raw as it's gonna get. And there you go, right? So let's continue and finish it up now for reals, I guess.
Alright, G, so you gotta understand, women avoid attractive men sometimes because they've been through enough. They've been there, done that. They done did it before. Alright, fellas, so they're looking at you like, nope, not again, not fucking happening, not in a million years. I'd rather deal with a simp who's a 5 who will treat me good than your ass. Alright, I might fuck you from time to time on mistake, but it ain't happening intentionally. Alright?
There you go. I couldn't have said it better myself, right? So, if you like this video, right, give me a like, share, subscribe. We're going to continue. Hopefully you understood why women play games. Now, this was more specific for handsome dudes, but it's the same. It's just like I said, heightened games, right? It's the same games, just heightened, right? Because they're dealing with the top of the top. So, but I want you to see the beauty of it, right? Is that because it's heightened, I can show you literally, right? Literally, there it is. It's so heightened and so obvious that I can show you and use it as an example to show you the ropes of the games of love and war. So there you go, right? I will see you on the next Space Luchador program.